Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Strategic Wealth Strategy Podcast with our host, Alan Porter. Alan, what's going on, man? How are you?
How you doing? It's another great day out here in North Carolina. It's supposed to get in the 70s tomorrow.
I know it's gorgeous here too. So I guess spring sprung very early. Well, I don't think so, but
Oh,
I can.
it's getting cold again.
Yeah, it's going to get cold again. Snow's coming to Pittsburgh. I don't think it's coming to North Carolina anytime soon, but we'll find out. And we're going to continue to talk about the stock market because again, the market is something that can really make people think. And you're not surprised. It's election year, right, Alan?
Absolutely. I mean,
You're gonna have to, and it's pretty easy people to manipulate stocks. Trust me, it's not difficult. So, Alan, the stock market is setting new highs each week. What are your thoughts on this?
well, first off, those new highs are set by about 17 different stocks. The rest of them are not doing so good. And they're saying, well, what this is so good at new highs and everything. Well, compared to inflation, it's only a gain of 6%. During the last administration, the stock market had new highs, and that was a gain of 36%. But people don't understand this. And Neil, I was talking to a guy the other day, and as a fact, it was out on the golf course. And I said, "Man, you're killing the stock market, aren't you?" He said, "Man, I'm making money hand over fist." I said, "You're not making anything." He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You don't make anything until you cash it out. It may be here today, but it's going to be gone tomorrow." The stock market is volatile. It goes up, it goes down, and people don't. I mean, and they're very emotional. They sell when it goes down, and they buy when it goes up. It's you got people like Dave Ramsey said, well, my term to invest the difference, put that in the stock market, you're going to average over 10% a year. I what years did you average over 10% in the market? Yeah, there's some years. But what about the lost decade in the 2000s, from 2000 to 2010? If you bet $100,000 in the market, Neil, you had $96,000 at the 2010, and that's not net of fees. You probably had 80 to $85,000.
It's crazy. That's a lot of loss for just playing it very safe. Isn't that crazy? So, what do you mean by the M2 money supply?
Well, I've gotten over this before. That's people they don't take into consideration the M2 money supply, and that's because we're a consumption-based society. Our M2 money supply is at recession and depression levels, and that M2 money supply supplies loans to businesses to create products, and they can't get loans anymore. Another huge thing that people don't understand: there is $60 trillion commercial debt that's coming up for maturity in the next few months. Remember 2008 with the mortgage crisis? Well, guess what? It may happen again.
Crazy stuff, man, for sure. And it's going, and it will happen probably after the election. If you're looking at predictions, go
Yeah.
figure. Yeah, so we'll see. Give me your thoughts on the status of our economy.
Well, I think our economy is the crap right now. Neil, it cost me over, since this new administration took over, it's costing me at a minimum $25,000 a year extra to live. That's me. Now, not everybody's that. Some are a lot less, but there's some it's cost them a lot more. And Neil, we've got 85% of our population in debt to the tune of $17 trillion, and it goes up constantly. People don't understand the effective interest costs that they have to pay on the money that they borrow, and they're putting everything on credit cards. And now you look at credit cards right now when they're issued, they're talking 20 to 30% interest rates, and the effective interest cost on those are over 95%. So people understand when you have a credit card and you start paying an interest on there, 95% of the money that you pay goes to interest. It compounds for the financial institutions. It doesn't compound for you. And it's when they take into inflation, they don't take into account the price of food, fuel, and it's not should be it's not they say it's what 3.4% right now. It's probably around 17 or 18%. But I mean, groceries have gone up 30% at least. Rent is unbelievable. People can't even afford rent. You've got so many young people that are living with their parents because the American dream is gone right now. They can't afford to live.
It's crazy. And so, Alan, here's the problem. If you're living paycheck to paycheck and you were lucky to save $200, $300 scrounging up every month so you could have a nice family vacation, they're not able to save $200 or $300. They're losing $300, $400, $500 every month. And that just is going to, and then what do? You put in the credit cards because inflation goes to that level, it's going to kill you. And people are finding out working a job isn't going to work anymore because it's not catching up to interest and inflation. So I don't know what people can do who don't create their own wealth. I don't know what they can do
Well,
except, yeah.
first thing they need to do is get out of debt. And I've got the perfect program for that. And, you know, when I compare Dave Ramsey, I agree with about 50% of what he says. But he wants you to pay the financial institutions that money where it compounds for them and not you. And you know as well as I do, Neil, when we set up our Debt Free for Life program, in my program, you set yourself up in a tax-free bucket of money in a whole life insurance policy, and you pay that extra money that will compound for you in that tax-free bucket of money and not the financial institutions. Now, it may take a couple months longer to get out of debt, but when you're out of debt, it's not going to be like Dave Ramsey, where you're right back to where you were, because if you want to buy something, you have to go to the bank and get a loan or put on a credit card. But with my program, you've got a tax-free bucket of money that's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, that you become your own bank. You'll never have to go to the bank and borrow money again. I've not gone to the bank in over 13 years since I learned how to do this. And you can also have a death benefit in that policy in the hundreds of thousands of dollars to protect your family in case something would happen to you. And you can even use it for long-term care, completely tax-free. And people have no idea, or they're not prepared for long-term care. It's extremely expensive, and 70% of Americans are going to need long-term care at some point in their life. And right now, it costs between $50,000 to $200,000 a year.
What is going to happen with taxes, Alan?
Well, you know, I tell people, do you think taxes are going to go up or down? And I've had probably 95% of people say, well, taxes are going to go up. Then I have the other 5% say, well, I'm going to be in a lower tax bracket when I retire. Well, I'll address that second thing first. I said, okay, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket. But understand this. When you go to retire, you probably lost all your tax deductions. And I said, don't you want to be living in the same standard of living or a better standard of living than you are right now? When you retire, when do you spend the most money? You spend the most money on Saturdays, correct? Well, every day when you retire is Saturday. And if you've got grandkids, you're going to be spending a lot of money. I know because I do it myself. And healthcare costs. People to understand when in retirement, a married couple, their healthcare costs are going to probably average over $315,000 during their retirement. Where are they going to get this money? I mean, it's crazy.
That's why Alan is hustling still, because he knows create your own wealth, enjoy what you do, and so pick a job that you're going to love the rest of your life, and you don't work a day of your life. That's it.
You know, here's the other thing. You know, I said this before. Last fall, now this is an original budget office report, and I've got the recording I can send to anybody. But they stated if we don't raise taxes overall by 66% by the year 2030, the country cannot pay the interest on the debt, and the country will default on their debt. And so, you know, what's the government do? They just keep printing more money, causing massive inflation. But the other thing too, you know, a lot of people don't understand. Come January 1st, 2026, the tax brackets are going back to what they were in 2017. Now, people in the 12% minimum tax bracket, some of them, but not all, are going to increase to over 25%. That's over 100% increase, and they're not prepared for it. Now, understand, all the tax brackets are going up, but they're not prepared for this, and your CPAs and their financial advisors aren't telling them.
Totally. What can people do right now to protect themselves, Alan?
Well, if you're in retirement and you've got a 401k or something like that, or you got a stock portfolio, then you want to eliminate the risk in retirement that a stock portfolio will only compound. Fixed and fixed index annuities and cash value life insurance. As an example, you got a fixed indexed annuity. Let's say you have $1 million in a stock portfolio. Okay, at a 4% distribution rate, they used to say that was a safe distribution rate to last until age 30 for the next 30 years. Well, now that distribution rate's down to 2.8%, and that's not guaranteed. But that distribution at 4% is $40,000 a year now, and In a fixed indexed annuity, you only needed $650,000 of that $1 million to give you the same $40,000 a year, and that's guaranteed for life. At a 3% distribution rate, they'd only need $500,000. So let's say you got the 4%. That leaves $350,000 that you can do with what you want. You can pay the taxes on it and turn that into a Roth to where you have no required minimum distribution. It does not affect the taxation of Social Security or the means testing for Medicare Part B, plus many, many other advantages. And then you have cash value life insurance. You can get a tax deduction going in, possibly if it's set up right, but it grows tax deferred. Your distributions are tax free. It does not affect the taxation of Social Security or means testing for Medicare Part B, which will be in the thousands of dollars per year. You're protected from lawsuits, liens, and judgments. You can take advantage of the progressive tax system that we have. You're protected from government risk and tax risk and market risk, which are absolutely huge. And the list, I mean, the benefits go on. A stock portfolio can't do any of this. A bond, stocks, savings account, real estate, none of them can protect you from the risk in retirement. All they can do is compound it. And people need to start thinking about this, because if all they've got is a stock portfolio, they're going to be out of money, especially with sequence returns risk.
Wow. It's definitely some big things coming, Alan, if you don't protect yourself. But if you contact you now at 910-551-1046 or email you at strategicwealth, the number 0 @gmail.com, you'll be able to kind of take a look at what they're doing, what's happening with them, and if they should definitely go that direction, and how to give them a tax-free for life. That's what you want. Debt-free for life, tax-free for life, especially in retirement. We're not paying taxes. You can enjoy yourself, have money to spend. But you're right. Every day's a Saturday when you're retired. Well, if you have no money, every day's a Sunday.
Well, here's the thing.
If they could go back to work.
Here's the thing I tell people, Neil, to close this out. If and when and if they increase taxes, do you want to pay those taxes? I ask them that question. No, I don't want to pay it. Well, contact me and I'll show you how not to.
All right, Alan. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
All right. That was Strategic Wealth Strategies Podcast, guys. Take care.